guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Tanner, and today's video is going to be about my experience being trans in high school and a few tips on how I deal with it that could potentially help you guys. So I was going into grade 10, a new high school. I had no clue how the teachers, students, or anybody working there would react to me being trans, and I was really nervous because I didn't have my name changed in the school system yet, so I had to go up to all my teachers before class and explain to them that I'm trans, I use he, him pronouns, address me as male, and basically I told them a little bit about my grandparents, and it went really well. All of my teachers were really supportive. All of them really understood me, which was perfect. I was honestly way more impressed by the teachers than the students because all of my teachers have been so supportive. Even in grade 11, they're amazing. But of course, there's a lot more students, which means more people can be transphobic or just like to make your life a little bit more difficult. So I have dealt with like 3 incidents, but they weren't even that bad. I don't let it get to me. I honestly don't really care what people say about me that much because I know who I am and I'm proud of myself, so I don't let it affect me. So the first time I had to deal with conflict with students about me being trans is in science class. There was a boy saying a lot of jokes about trans people, and he made it very clear that he didn't like trans people at all. So he would just make jokes to me, he would always say things, and honestly, I just let it fly over my head. I was like, I'm not gonna give this kid my time because he's not worth it. But where it became a problem was when he would go to my friends and talk to them because he knew my friends were really supportive, so he could attack them. Well, he would attack me, but by him attacking me to my friends, it just made them really, really uncomfortable and they felt bad for me. So eventually my friends and I were like, we don't want to have to deal with this anymore. I just wanted to be over with. So we went and talked to the vice principal, and he phoned his mother, and after that the guy was no longer allowed to go near me or talk to me. So that was good. So I've also had multiple people come up to me and talk to me about me wearing makeup to school because back in grade 10 I wore a little bit more noticeable makeup. I've had a bunch of questions like, if you're trying to be a boy, why are you wearing makeup? You know, like I thought you're trying to be a guy, like what are you doing? Like girls do this. But honestly, like, I don't care. Rolls eyes back into like the galaxy, like. I had a boy in Japanese class tell me that I am a reverse trap because he was talking about trans women being traps to him, and I spoke up because I'm like, trans women aren't traps, and he's like, oh yeah, you know, like just started like trying to argue with me about it, and I'm like, you know I'm trans, right? And he's like, oh yeah, so you're a reverse trap? And I'm like, oh god, like I was just done. So that being said, like I did the first time, I really think it's best to just go and tell somebody if it's bothering you, if it becomes bullying. Just go tell somebody. Honestly, the situation will just get a lot better and you won't have to deal with anybody no more, unless of course other people are stupid. A funny story that I want to put out there is at the beginning of grade 11 I went and talked to my teachers because at this time I had my name changed in the school system. I changed it at the very, very end of grade 10. There was only a few days left to school actually. My name on the attendance said Tanner, and I just want to clarify with my teachers that I'm a guy, I'm a trans guy, just in case they thought otherwise. So I went and told all my teachers that I use he, him pronouns, and they were really great, except for this one teacher, and I know he was trying his best, right? But he just took it a different way when I told him that I use like he, him pronouns and addressed me as male. So on the first day of school, you know how everybody's like looking around when teachers call people's names out because they want to see like the name to the face. And my teacher says he, him instead of Tanner. And oh my goodness, like it was awkward at first, but then like I started like laughing my ass off with like the people next to me because it was so funny. And so yeah, I like raised my hand awkwardly and I'm like, it's actually Tanner, but I'll talk to you later. Personally for me, school is my safe place considering at home I don't have much support. So I really strongly suggest you try to find connections, create bonds, just try to find places that you can feel like yourself at school. And to do that, I would recommend going to a Gay Straight Alliance or a diversity club. And if you don't have those and your school is supportive, suggest creating one on your own, right? Because someone has to create the club. I also suggest talking and finding an adult that you can trust and supports you. So even if that's not a teacher or a principal, it might be a school counselor, it could be the janitor, it could be like the school lunch person, you know, that hands out lunch or whatever, right? It could be any adult at the school. Washrooms tend to be a big problem for a lot of trans people at school. In grade 10, we didn't have a gender neutral washroom, which was a pain in the ass, but because I live in Canada, specifically BC, I am legally allowed to choose the washroom that I want to go into. So I was using the male washroom a lot of the times and also the nurse's washroom. But I remember having to like sit in the stall for like 10 minutes because people would just like continue to go into the men's washroom, and like I'd be really nervous to like walk out when they were there as well. So I'd just be like sitting there, and then I would have to go back to class and be like, I'm so sorry, like I wasn't skipping, like I was just like stuck in the washroom, which sounds like really silly, but unfortunately I had to deal with that for that year. And it's so much better now, now that we have a gender neutral washroom. This is it for my video. I'm really sorry if some of you guys experience people just being cruel or mean to you guys at school. I know it's hard because school hasn't always been easy for me. It hasn't always been a safe place that I can go to, so I can relate to you guys on that. And I'm happy for the rest of you guys who experience, you know, a lot of positive things at school. Bye guys, have a wonderful day. I'm a skedaddle.